So we're working on the first step in our analytical chart method, which is arranging the text or the words in a mechanical outline. So on last class, I talked about a mechanical outline. What is a mechanical outline? So first, just by way of review, we talked about what an outline is. We have Roman numeral 1, letter A, letter B, Roman numeral 2, and then we have the things that go with each of these. So by this structure, I'm saying that this is equally important as Roman numeral 1 is equally important as Roman numeral 2. Letter A is equally important as letter B, but not as important. But that these letter A and B are part of whatever this is. So we're going to do the same thing with the scripture text. So very important, when you go to write Roman numeral 1, if this is your paper, make sure you get the right marker here. If this is the edge of your paper, why does Roman numeral 1 go right there? Because that's in the strongest position. So you're saying this is more important than this. In other words, these are included in this. Therefore, this is a bigger emphasis. Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2 are emphasized. Why do we put this one here? Because that's where you always start the outline. You always start it right. The Roman numeral 1 always goes here. Then we indent from there. And if we have other things like number 1 and number 2 over here, we indent even more on that. So, oh no, I used the wrong marker. It's going to be bad. Okay, now moving over here. What we're going to do with the text is the same thing as the outline. We're going to start here, and I'm indicating by putting this here, this is the beginning of the outline. So this would be the equivalent of, it's not moving much, Roman numeral 1. So this would be Roman numeral 1. So here is the question that I need to ask myself with the second phrase. Here's the phrase. The first phrase is, blessed are the poor in spirit. I have verse number 3 here on the end. Why is it there? Because it's helpful to keep track of which verse you're on, but it's going to mess up our emphasis over here. So it's down on the end. So if you got that far in the reading, that's where it is. So here's the second phrase. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Here we have, blessed are the poor in spirit. And the question I'm going to ask myself is this the same? And the answer is, grammatically, no, this is not the same. For is a preposition. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. It's not the same as this. It's dependent on this. And it's describing, it's furthering this first phrase. So these are not the same. Because of that, if it's not the same, then it goes in the second position. Now, what if I get the next phrase, which, let me do that now. And what I'm going to do is ask myself, the new phrase, is that the same as this one? Grammatically, in the form, the structure, not the same words, even though we do have that here in the Beatitudes portion. But we have a preposition, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So here's the next phrase, blessed are they that mourn. So first question is that the same as the first one, grammatically? Blessed are they that mourn? Or is it more like the second phrase, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, starts with a preposition? Or if it's not like either of those two, Then where is it going to go? It's going to go in tab position number 3. So which of those does it go in? 1, 2, or 3? Which one?
1.
1. Anyone else? We have 1, 1, and 1 nod. And a lot of other people not saying anything. It's either 1, 2, or 3. That's the answer. 1. Anyone else? Blessed are they that mourn. Is it the same as the first one, second, or if it's not like either of those, it'll go in spot number 3? No answer. Okay. The answer is it's the same as number 1. So it's going to go over here. Why is it the same? This is a little bit easier because it actually uses the same word, but we have blessed are, it's the same tense, and it makes a statement. Okay, so let's go around the room and everybody gets to think through the different phrases. So you get the next phrase. So the question is fairly simple since the phrase is already out. Come on up. You're the next contestant. And you're going to ask the same question. Is this the same as, should this be like Roman numeral 1, numeral 2, and so on? Or should it be like number 2, spot number 2? Or if it's not like either of those, then it's going to go in spot number 3. So which one?
It's like that one.
Okay. And why is it like that one?
Because it will start with the same opening.
Okay, starts with a preposition. This one says theirs, this says they, but same basic idea. So correct. So that one's right. It's the same as that. Okay, next. So you're always going to ask the same question. You're going to go back through the outline unless it's a whole new section, and it's not a new section.
This is the same as...
Same question. It's going to be spot 1, 2, or 3. Either it's the same as blessed are the poor in spirit, or the same as for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, or if it's not like either of those, then it would be in spot 3.
It's in spot 1 because it starts with the same blessed are.
Correct, the same format, same basic format of the words. Okay, next, come on up. Here's our next one. So it's either going to be spot 1, 2, or 3 as of right now, depending on what it matches. Okay, and why do you have it in spot number 2? Correct, prepositional phrase, and hopefully by now it's a great job, thank you. You can see the pattern going here. We have the statement, blessed are the poor, blessed are whatever, and then we have a response to it, explaining it with the starting with a preposition for theirs, for they or for theirs. So we have this very consistent pattern that's going on. Now, when you just read through it, it's not as likely, it's a little less likely to see it. Okay, next contestant. Same question, it's either spot 1, spot 2, or spot 3. The next phrase.
The same as the same format.
Okay, yeah, same format. It starts with blessed. It's passive voice. And so that is correct. So that's going to go there to start verse number 6. Second half of verse 6. We're missing tape. All right, your turn. Same question. Does it go in spot 1, 2, or 3? And so you're saying it goes in spot 3? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that means you're also saying it's not the same as blessed are or for they. And that is correct. We have a new thing. This is a clause. This is a prepositional phrase. This is a clause. So this is in spot 3. So here we have our pattern, blessed for they, and then we have blessed are they, but then it doesn't say for, it has which, so it's a different phrase. Now you also notice I have an and here on the end of the word. If you got this far in the pages there, the reason for that is because not every sentence starts with an and. It's going to be easier to see the alignment if we put the conjunctions at the end of the preceding phrase instead of putting them at the beginning of the second part of the phrase. So we'll be able to see that shortly. And we also have the word and at the end. So that means we have 2 of something. Let's see if our next contestant can line that up, because we're into a different pattern now. It's different than it was at the beginning. And means we have 2 of something. Thirst lines up with what's the same, it's a different word, but it's the same part of speech. Hunger and okay, so if it goes here, you're going to say that thirst is the same as this word which. Is that the same?
No.
Okay, so thirst, slide that down so it lines up with what is the same part of speech. That is correct. There we go. It's a little torn there, that's okay. Okay, now we can see what the 2 things are. We know we have 2 things because we have the conjunction and. So it's got to be 2 things. So you got to say, okay, we have and, there's 2 of something somewhere, which do hunger, and then you can see thirst. So thirst goes together. We can see now we have 2 things. What if we had a longer list? They that which do hunger and thirst and seek, and we would keep lining up those words if that had that on there. So great job. It's a little tricky there. Next one, we are at the top of the batting order. Next phrase is after righteousness. So now it's getting a little more tricky because there could be a lot more places to put this. We have blessed are they which do hunger and thirst. Next phrase is after righteousness. So start with, is it the same as spot 1? Is it the same as spot 2, 3, 4? If it's not like any of those, it goes in spot 5. So the number of spots available is up to 5. And what kind of phrase is that?
Prepositional.
Prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrases are modifying, they're describing. So if they are describing, they're not as important as what they're describing. That means they are supporting something. So let's see if he tapes it in the correct place. Yes. So after righteousness. So we have a new phrase. It's not like any of these. It is a preposition, but it's not a preposition that goes with one of these phrases, like blessed are the meek. So here we got hunger and thirst. This is lined up. Here's our clause. Then hunger and thirst. And then after righteousness is describing the hungering and thirsting. Because it's describing these, then it has to go in the weaker position. That's why it's going to go here. Because it's describing hungering and thirsting. So this is in perfect spot right there. And next phrase, we have another prepositional phrase, for they shall be filled. And let's see where that one goes. This one's getting to be an interesting verse, grammatically speaking. Okay, and we have, for they shall be filled, and you put it in spot number 2. So you're saying it's the same as for they shall inherit the earth, for they shall be comforted?
Yeah, because it's blessed are they, where they shall be filled.
Correct, because it's the follow-up of blessed are they. So the fact that we have this in the middle, that's fine. This is kind of describing this here, but this shows the repetition of the pattern. So this is correct. This is grammatically in this spot. So in other words, to see the pattern, if we took these phrases out right here, it would keep this exact pattern going. Obviously, God wanted this here. This helps us to describe this, so I'm not saying that's not important. But I'm saying the fact that you can see this very consistent pattern right here, that's what this particular passage is emphasizing. Okay, next, verse 7, blessed are the merciful. So, same question. Every phrase, it's the same question. Is it the same as whatever's in spot 1? Is it the same as whatever's in spot 2, 3, 4, 5? If it doesn't line up with any of those, it's going to be in spot 6. And we have chosen door number 1, blessed are the merciful, and correct. We can see the pattern going again. This one's particularly easy because it's not only the same parts of speech, it's the exact same word. So that's one of the reasons we're starting with this. Very easy, a very easy pattern to see. All right, and now we have another prepositional phrase. And so the question is spot 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. If it doesn't line up with those, it would be in spot 6. And spot number 2 is chosen correct. It's the same pattern, blessed are, and then the prepositional phrase, for they shall obtain mercy. All right, starting verse number 8. Blessed are the pure in heart. Your turn. And we're still asking the same question. Is this the same as number 1, number 2, and so on? And you put it in spot 1, that is correct again. So we see very big repetition, blessed are, same parts of speech, and so on. All right. Last one in the lineup, same again. You're going to ask yourself the same exact question. Is this the same as the phrase in spot 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on? And we have spot number 2 has been chosen. That is correct. So we'll take a look at this. For they shall see God. So the prepositional phrase that's completing the first one. Why don't we start a new line over here? We'll just pretend this continues the page. And using my dry erase marker, put this right here. Okay, blessed are the pure in heart. Now, when you're actually doing your analytical chart, sometimes you can't fit a whole passage on one page. That's okay. So you have page 2, but it should be a continuation of if the paper could keep going, where you would line it up. So that means that this would be the same as all these other blesseds. So that one is correct. Next phrase. There we go. Okay, and yes, so we're keeping the pattern going. We have the follow-up, the refrain kind of thing for they shall see God. That is correct. Verse 9. Blessed are the peacemakers. Everybody getting the idea? And very good. So the pattern continues. This is probably one of the simplest sections in the Bible in order to do this. And good. So we have spot number 2. So we're keeping our pattern going. And next, try to crank through these last ones. And next, so is it the same as this? The same as spot number 2? Correct, it's not the same as spot 2. So that means it's not going to go in 1 or 2. So you would put it in spot 3, I believe. It'd be closer to this. Yep. So this phrase, even though it uses the same word, it's actually used in a different way. It's a different form. So great job. So we have blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake. So it's describing persecution. Then this is correct, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Unfortunately, we're out of time to finish this. But I think everybody's getting the idea down. You just ask yourself this question, same as spot 1. Phrase 2, phrase 3, and you're looking for repetition of grammatical form. That's what you're looking for. And then you break it down into phrases. Okay, good job, and you're dismissed while I figure out how to erase non-dry erase markers.